I'm Coyote Peterson, and you're never gonna believe what I just found living underneath the lily pads in this lake. Snapping turtles have been hailed throughout history as swamp monsters, famous for their incredible bite force and prehistoric looking appearance. Since childhood, these reptiles have both captivated and encouraged me to follow my passion of exploring the natural world to get up close and personal with animals. Today I'm in Columbus, Ohio at Blendon Woods Metro Park. Now, this is a location that I've been doing research on common snapping turtles at for 5 years now. The team and I have special permissions to be off trail, to be able to go out on the water in a kayak, and what I'm hoping to do today is catch one of these turtles that I've been researching so I can show you guys why this is my favorite reptile.
All right, I'm rolling. All right, yeah. Coyote, tell us what you're doing with this kayak.
So I'm going to use the kayak to try to get myself close to the turtles. You see how much plant life has already grown in? That means they're hiding under the algae, hiding under the lily pads. If I'm in the kayak, I can kind of coast along the edge of the lily pads and look for turtles that are up towards the surface, hunting for fish and tadpoles. This will allow me to be standing on the kayak. I can jump off into the water and try to get my hands on one. All right, let's see if we can have some luck finding ourselves a mud dragon. Leaping from a kayak is the safest way to capture one of these turtles, and grabbing it by the back of the shell will ensure that no harm comes to me or the reptile. I got it! It's a big turtle! Oh my gosh, it is an absolute dinosaur. Hold on, I'm sinking in the mud. That is the common snapping turtle, and he is about the size of a dinosaur. Oh my gosh, it's a backbreaker. Look at that. Wow. My heart's beating on my chest right now. Wow, look, that's about as close as you want to get your face to the face of a snapping turtle. Look at those claws. And I call these guys mud dragons because they have those beautiful yellow eyes, all these scales on the front of their feet, and claws that just make you say, I don't want to go swimming in the pond behind my house. Yeah, I see you. Look at his head. His head is like the size of a softball. And he's saying right now, go ahead, get your nose just a touch closer, and I will make dinner of it. And what these turtles are doing right now is floating at the surface, looking for fish and tadpoles. And this algae is exactly what they're floating in. You can see the side of his head. It's growing right on top of this guy's dome, and that's how he's staying so camouflaged. Okay, so one thing I want to show you guys that is really unique about the snapping turtle from any other turtle is the bottom of the shell, which is called the plastron. And you see how small his plastron is? You've got all this meat, all this meat that's exposed. That's why these reptiles have kind of evolved with these incredible dinosaur-like qualities. All these scales on the forelimbs, this big protective shell, that bite force, and these claws pretty much say I'm the king of this wetland. Good looking boy. And I know this is a boy. You can usually tell because of the size. The males get quite a bit larger than the females, and then the males' tails are significantly longer. And this guy just has an absolute dragon tail. Can you see that from the side there? They have these big scutes along the back of their tails. Look at that. And that's about as prehistoric looking as you can get for a reptile that lives here in Ohio. All that algae that's growing on his face. Now when he's underwater, his head basically looks like a floating rock, and they can really slowly project that forward, and as a fish gets closer, that's when they snap, and he's got dinner. Respect. Number one thing you have to have whenever working with the common snapping turtle. You get complacent for just a second and you're going home -1 finger. Wow, that was about the coolest experience I could have had with my favorite turtle on the planet. I'm sure that you guys have a bunch of questions and some stories of your own about mud dragons, so leave me your comments and your stories below. I'm gonna let this guy go back out so you can finish your hunting for the night, right? I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. All right, let's go, buddy. There's no question about it. These turtles have inspired my love and admiration for the natural world and all its amazing animals. In part, they've been the reason you are now about to join me on this journey that will become known as Breaking Trail, and it's my hope that through this series, you too will gain a newfound love for some of the coolest creatures on the planet. If you thought that was one wild adventure, check out these other animal encounters, and don't forget, subscribe to follow me and the crew on this season of Breaking Trail.